Hi. We need to talk about the elephant in the doctor's office. There are things about medicine that really irritate me. BMI is one of them, and there are some others. Another one that's really big for me is the fact that doctors aren't actually given adequate training in diet and nutrition. In fact, they're given almost no training. The ones who get the most training are pediatricians, and that is not because of university. That is because of practical experience they get as residents. And let's be honest, the fact that doctors, even many specialists, don't know anything about diet and nutrition is not just a problem, it's a dangerous problem. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about glucose monitors. And it doesn't matter whether we're talking about the regular glucose monitor that uses a piece of a drop of blood, or we're talking about a CGM. I mean, I've got a glucose monitor. My doctor got this for me because I've been having some weird problems that I haven't been able to nail down that seem to be about blood glucose. But my monitor, when I use it, shows that my blood sugar level is normal, even when I'm experiencing the symptoms where I have a little bit of lightheadedness, and I have a lot of sleepiness. And it's really very, very frustrating because I'll be sitting here working on something and I'll have to stop and take a nap because I'm having so much trouble staying awake and focusing and thinking. It's like, there's brain fog, right, as well. And so anything that I try to do takes a very long time, and I might nod off repeatedly while I'm doing it. But my HbA1c has always been normal. There's no indications that I have diabetes, although my doctor has refused to test my insulin levels. And more than once now. So I'm actually looking for a different doctor. So I've been thinking about this, and I'm not a doctor, but I'm thinking, how is it that I can be experiencing what seems to be a hypoglycemic crash, where your glycemic is about the level of sugar in your blood, and hypo means low. So when you consume something with a lot of sugar, your blood sugar goes up like this, and then as the insulin works on getting that stuff stored in the proper places in your body, it goes like this. Now, if it's fructose, it goes to your liver, and that has nothing to do with insulin. But if it's glucose, that's what insulin's job is to store it in the muscles and some of the fat as well. So insulin has a very important job, but your body sometimes can underreact, which is called insulin resistance, or overreact. And in that case, you can have, say this is where your blood sugar starts at. So your blood sugar goes up, and then there's an excess amount of insulin that's produced so that your blood sugar goes below normal. That's hypoglycemia. And that's actually part of what killed my wife when she was dying of cancer. She actually went into a seizure in front of me the first time, and then the second time I was not there. So okay, I'm not going to talk about that because that really kind of triggers me. But so I was thinking, why is it that I'm having this apparent hypoglycemia, and yet my blood sugar doesn't measure as being abnormal? Well, I learned something, and I've talked to multiple people about this. I've asked doctors, and I've asked pharmacists, and apparently a glucose monitor, CGM or otherwise, which CGM is continuous glucose monitor. You have a patch on your arm. There's a little needle, tiny little needle that's stuck inside, and it's constantly checking your blood sugar level. And you have usually an app on your phone that will read the results from the CGM, so you can see when it spikes. So you have to, you keep track of what you've eaten, and you're like, oh my God, this is spiking. So, and just to digress a little bit more about the CGM, you can eat something, like I said, and you can see the sugar spike. So you can eat a piece of candy, and you can see your blood sugar go, or maybe it just goes like this and stays like this if you're really having problems with producing enough insulin. The same is true of any food. You can see how much sugar is running through your veins and arteries. And so there are basically two kinds of sugars that you're going to detect in your blood vessels, glucose and fructose. But there are others, but those are the primary ones. And they're very different because, again, fructose is not processed with insulin. It's processed by the liver. So what I did when I talked to the doctors and I talked to the pharmacist is that I asked, does a glucose monitor only monitor glucose? Now, you would think the answer would be yes, because they're called glucose monitors. Now, interestingly enough, this one is a blood glucose monitoring system. However, on the other side, it says blood sugar, mentor images. So that's from the program called Blood Sugar Mentor. But it says blood glucose. And so you would think that means that it's only measuring blood glucose. However, it's not. Each of the people that I've asked, and I've also seen this incidentally in some health videos, the monitor does not have the ability. Doesn't matter whether it's a monitor like mine or it's a monitor that is CGM. It makes no difference. They're not designed to differentiate between glucose and fructose. So it's not actually a blood glucose monitor or a continuous blood glucose monitor. It is a continuous blood sugar monitor. It measures all the sugar in your blood at any given time. Do you see where I'm going with this? So that means if you eat a piece of fruit, it's going to measure a blood sugar spike of fructose. But it's misleading you into thinking that it's glucose. So you'll be like, oh my God, I had no idea that I was getting such a blood sugar spike from eating strawberries. Well, yeah, you're getting a blood sugar spike that's going to be processed by the liver. Now, is that good? No, because the liver can be overloaded by sugars, not designed to handle huge amounts of fructose. Now, I'm not saying there's a huge amount of fructose in strawberries. I'm just speaking in general, okay? So that's why high fructose corn syrup is dangerous, because it's just as dangerous for you as alcohol, because it puts so much fructose in your liver that your liver can't process it all. So what it can't process, what it can't use, it stores in itself as fat. And that results in fatty liver. And then over time, whether it's alcohol or fructose consumption, it gets to the point where it's so bad that your liver starts to be damaged, and that becomes cirrhosis of the liver, which is commonly associated with alcoholics because of the huge amount of fructose they're ingesting. So if you consume fruit juice and it's just all natural fruit juice, there's no sugars added, Okay. Now, on the label, you'll read it and you'll be like, oh, wow, this is great. I don't have to worry about this because there's no added sugar. It doesn't matter. Whether it's added sugar or not added sugar, the important thing to remember is it's still sugar. Yeah. But if it's fructose, that's not to do with your diabetes. That's not to do with your that kind of a problem. That's to do with your liver. But the monitor can't tell you it's fructose. It just says that there's that much sugar in your blood. So when you are measuring something to see how it affects your blood sugar, and it's something that has lots of fructose in it, be it honey or agave or cane sugar or invert sugar or molasses or high fructose corn syrup or some kind of a fruit or even a vegetable that's got fructose in it, cinnamon, you're not getting an accurate picture of how that's impacting your diabetes. Why? Because, again, fructose is not processed by insulin. It's processed by your liver. Different things, okay? So you can use your monitor to understand how things with low fructose are affecting you in terms of your diabetes. But when you are eating things that are high in fructose, you're going to get a false understanding of what's going on. Because these monitors apparently, and I've asked the doctors and the pharmacists, I said, are there any monitors that can differentiate between glucose and fructose? And they said, not that I'm aware of. And, I did a quick search on the internet. And I couldn't find anything myself. That, it was a quick search. So, I just spent a couple of minutes, right? So, this is very important for you to understand. That's why I'm sharing this with you today, because I hear over and over again in videos, oh, well, I was, or comments or articles that they used a glucose monitor to measure their blood glucose, and they ate a piece of fruit and their blood glucose went like this. Well, it's not their blood glucose. It's their blood sugar, period. So this is really irritating for me, because it is a systemic, possibly worldwide problem where the manufacturers of these blood sugar monitors are misleading people into believing they're measuring glucose when they're not only measuring glucose. They're measuring total sugars. So it should never be labeled as a CGM. It should never be labeled as a glucose monitor. It should only be labeled as a blood sugar monitor, a continuous blood sugar monitor. So I hope that information is helpful for you. You should talk with your doctor if you have problems with your liver, or if you have metabolic disorders like diabetes, or anything else that's related to this topic, because it's very important, and your doctor may or may not be aware of this problem. It seems like mine isn't. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this will help you, and have a great day.